The outside world is just simply getting a bit too cold and dark to actually spend time in. Let's lose ourselves in our favourite virtual ones instead. Much cozier. If you're looking for a mighty challenge to put your magnificent brand new G502X Plus to the test, then you're going to want a massive new video game that you can really sink some time into. We love to spend these cold winter nights gradually uncovering every inch of a game's seemingly infinite amount of content. Before you know it, you've unearthed every secret, unlocked every treasure, and climbed your way to the top of the leaderboard. Maybe even broken a few records along the way. In this list, we've got competitive multiplayer games, story-rich open worlds, and even adorable indies. So buckle in, there's a lot to see here. Let's get into some of the best games you can play for a really long time. You knew this would have to be the first on this list, didn't you? From Software's latest groundbreaking epic adventure is an absolute feast of challenging content that would put even the most hardened Dark Souls veterans to the test if they ever wanted to become the next Elden Lord. As expected, Elden Ring has dozens and dozens of legendarily tough bosses to conquer, but it also drops you in a sprawling, terrifyingly dense open world full of twisted characters, compelling stories, and irresistible locations that are just begging to be explored. The lands between will take you hundreds of hours just to thoroughly explore, let alone successfully beat. Just be prepared. Elden Ring is the ultimate test of your patience. Well, what better example is there of a game that could keep you entertained for hours than one that literally simulates an entire universe for you to endlessly explore? No Man's Sky uses some very clever procedural generation to create entire galaxies stuffed full of unique planets for you to jet across in your fancy custom-built spaceship. Originally launched in 2016, developer Hello Games has slowly transformed this spacefaring exploration game into a massive hub of every single thing you could possibly imagine. From base building and underwater exploration, to tameable animals and even mechs. No Man's Sky has enough content to keep you occupied for quite some time. Just don't forget about our universe while you're in there. If you feel like stepping out of the mundanity of real life and into a hyper-stylized dystopian future, then get your hands on Cyberpunk 2077 and lose yourself in the twisting, fantastical stories of Night City. This open-world RPG from the studio that brought us The Witcher 3 switches out the swords and spells for guns and cybernetics. As well as figuring out why you're haunted by hallucinations of a moody, anarchistic Keanu Reeves, you'll also be navigating a life in Night City, a corporate-controlled metropolis that's rampant with seedy activity. Even ignoring the fantastic story, the mountains of compelling side quests, and even the romance options, you could spend hundreds of hours just simply exploring the beautiful, if terrifying world of Night City. Time for another epic open-world adventure, but let's throw in an old-school approach and a couple of survival game mechanics too. Outward is a fantastically deep survival RPG that might have slipped under some of your radars when it originally released back in 2019, but with the recent definitive edition climbing the Steam charts, now is the perfect opportunity to see what you've been missing. While most RPG narratives cast you as an all-powerful chosen one destined for glory, Outward instead places you in the shoes of a perfectly ordinary traveller who's simply trying to make their way in a perilous world. This is a proudly old-school adventure that doesn't hold your hand after throwing you into its vast open world. So be prepared to suffer a little while you learn the rules of its brutality. But if that's a hurdle you think you can tackle, you'll be set for quite some time as you carve out a path for yourself. Oh, and you can team up with a friend or two if it all gets a bit lonely. Always good to have a pal in these situations. Oh, Death Stranding. We've never played anything quite like this weird and wonderful open world game from visionary director Hideo Kojima. We'll admit, this isn't for everyone, but for some of you, this could be your next favourite game, if you're into surreal abstract narratives, bizarrely named characters, and postal delivery. The Walking Dead's Norman Reedus stars as the world's most dedicated postman, trekking across gorgeous, sometimes perilous landscapes to deliver cargo, all while reconnecting an apocalyptic America. If you're looking for a relaxing but complex walking simulator, then the world of Death Stranding will deliver exactly what you've been waiting for. Just be careful with some of those packages. Let's switch things up a bit now for those of you looking for something a bit more light-hearted, but still competitive and challenging. This platform fighter takes inspiration from Super Smash Bros, but tosses in a whole bunch of characters from various Warner Bros. Franchises into the mix. This impressively unique roster features fighters like Arya Stark, Batman, Iron Giant, Rick and Morty, and even Gizmo the Gremlin. But it's also constantly adding more and more bizarre characters with frequent updates. It'll take quite some time to master every fighter in the mix, and with so many more exciting characters rumoured to be entering the fray, we imagine you'll have plenty to keep yourself occupied. And if we haven't given you enough meaty open world RPGs for you to sink your teeth into, here's just one more. This time we'll be taking a dip into the world of Norse mythology, with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and what a densely packed world this is. If you're the kind of person who loves to watch as all the numbers on your statistics page gradually increase to impossibly high levels, all the while slowly ticking off the dozens and dozens of side activities that populate a ginormous map, then Valhalla has been designed specifically for you. We'll also throw in honourable mentions to Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey for a lot of the same qualities, but it's Valhalla which perfects the formula.
I mean, you can ride around on a big cuddly wolf. Need we say any more?
Now for something a little smaller in scope, but no less complex. Don't Starve is a survival game with one simple goal. Can you guess what it is? Yeah, Don't Starve. With a delightfully gloomy and gothic pop-up book art style, Don't Starve is one of the more aesthetically charming survival games, but don't let that fool you. This is still a devilishly challenging experience that will see you having to gather mountains of resources, craft a factory's worth of machines, and forge enough light sources and weapons if you hope to survive every season, as well as conquer each of the vicious bosses. If this all sounds a bit much for you to accomplish all by yourself, don't worry, you can team up with a friend in Don't Starve together, and take on the challenge as a team. And be warned, you definitely won't make it to winter on your first go. Switching lanes now to something for those of you after a bit more of an adrenaline-fueled experience. Codemasters' latest entry in the F1 sim racing series is the best the franchise has ever been, and is sure to see you getting the most out of your brand new pro racing wheel for months to come. Or at least until F1 23 comes around. Until then though, you can set records on the beautiful sweeping Miami track, master the suite of new car designs, and if you're playing on a strong enough PC, you can even whack on your VR headset for one of the most truly immersive sim racing experiences we have ever seen. Oh, and you can even live the life of a glamorous F1 star, just like you've always deserved. And finally, it's time to return to the Dark Ages with this long-awaited entry in everybody's favourite real-time strategy franchise. It's been a long time since we lost hundreds and hundreds of hours to the original trilogy, growing our tiny town centres into bustling empires, and then using our powerful militaries to flatten any opposing civilization that gets in our way. And Age of Empires 4 seeks to remedy that. This is an award-winning return to form for the franchise, with 4 meaty and historically accurate campaigns, 10 different civilizations to master, and a merciless competitive scene that will really put you to the test if you hope to have a fighting chance at victory. Now, get to work. We think we saw an idle villager not gathering any resources earlier. So, those are just some of the games we recommend to keep you occupied for more than 100 hours in 2022. Let us know your favourite games to seek yourself into for days at a time in the comments below, drop us a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the Logitech G channel for more videos just like this one.